Eh, I will start with an introduction for this one. I think there's a link, a very strong link between precision in racing and a great user experience. Because in user experience, you design and develop digital products, and in racing, you work all the time in measuring every millisecond to achieve a great performance, right? So in the case of user experience, for example, a slight delay in loading time, a misplaced call to action, or an inconsistent interface can lead to users drop off and also then can lead to a failure, right? So both racing and UX demand a lot of exactness and optimal performance. There has to be a continuous testing, iteration. We have to test and prove both designers and developers based on analytics. Like there's millions of data points in the digital world, but also in the racing world. And the third one is that everything is human-centered design. Nowadays, we design and develop products that have to be intuitive, accessible, and tailored to the user needs. So, from our perspective, this is how UX can help to achieve goals in a product. But this is also complementary to the world of racing.
Yeah, I think it's been so interesting for me, as a race car driver, at the beginning, like to understand like which similarities there was with UX and having or spending time with the Wonder team. I realized like there's a lot of similarities because when we are driving a race car, like all the little details, like Memo was saying, like all the data that we get to analyze, because so we're trying to make sure that the car goes quicker and quicker every time we're on track. We cannot miss like a braking zone by only like by 5 meters. Like the precision is really important, but also like synchronizing all the elements. So I drive the car alone, but there's another like environment, like the team, the engineers that analyze this data, the mechanics, and we make adjustments based on the little differences we find in like conditions, for example, in a racetrack. So if the air temperature changes, if the tire is degrading more, if we have wind, so we have to be very precise on what we adjust to make sure that we maximize the performance to be able to go quicker. So I think it's like all these elements at the end that with the analysis, the right analysis, you can make like smart decisions to make sure that the customers as well, are getting what they want from the design, from like using apps and stuff like that. So I think it's been super useful for me as well to understand that I can use all these tools that I do in racing for the other things and think about it.
Absolutely. 100%. Which leads me to the next question. In racing, how critical is real time reaction? And what happens when there are delays?
So for us, every millisecond counts, and it's something we train a lot. Like the not only like the reflexes and how quick you make decisions based on what you see and what you feel, and your instinct, because also is not only as a driver but the decisions your team make in order to make the best strategy, for example, in a race. Like if you get a call from your strategist and you miss the pit entry by maybe 2 seconds or 1 second, then it means you have to, for example, do one extra lap, and then you're losing positions because of that strategy call. So to be able to really react uh, on time, just for like a performance point of view, also for like event security and being able to avoid incidents on track. You gotta have like all your senses, and be able to really trust or have like a car that really does what you want it to do. So I think it's for us is a game changer. Like the reaction time can really lead us to not only our team but the driver itself. Something that we have to train a lot. The reactions and to be able to communicate also to the team for them to make the best decision with the information they've got in the quickest or shortest amount of time.
So similar to UX, right, Memo?
There's a lot of similarities. We have been on the track with Tatiana so many times, and the last time I was looking at the board, and I was really like into the numbers. There's hours and hours when you are on the track, and every millisecond counts, just like Tatiana said. And I can tell the difference when a driver is, finishing a lap and everything, and I can measure the performance if you learn how to observe and how to deduct what is going to happen next based on the data. It's super interesting. And I think we do the same all the time in UX and digital products. It's like we never stop measuring because there's millions of users out there. And in the world of racing, there's millions of data points and performance and a lot of aspects that they have to consider to be the best on the race.
Exactly. Yeah. That was what I say. And especially WANDR, like WANDR and data, like it's it's what we do every day. We measure data.
And
Now moving on.
I
No, go
wanted
ahead, go ahead.
to touch base because I saw one of your posts recently and I thought about it and it was like another similarity to like racing, and I thought like, it's about asking the right questions so that you really analyze, like you were doing the parallel or like from like startups, and asking the right questions to know, like, is your product really a necessity? What do you have in mind to really develop and have a strategy? And I think it's the same a little bit in like racing, and like when, for example, you interact with your engineers, the best engineers are the ones that are ask the right questions so that you sort of like answer, you have the answer but you gotta extract it. And I think that's also like part of like the human side, that we gotta ask ourselves questions and try to improve every time. And I just remembered the post, and I saved it because for me it's really about making the right questions to really try and improve.
And also, great design starts with asking the right question. Just like Tatiana said, you don't have to rush up to build fast. You have to understand before. So that's why we are data centered and human centered. And many of the startups fail because of that, because they don't understand the market fit for their product. Same as in the racing world, you have to understand where are you in this world and how can you have this advantage on the others, right? So that's why I admire drivers so much, and we do at WANDR. They think very fast, right? If we were all drivers, we will be like super fast thinkers.
You are in your own way.
And now changing the subject a little bit. How did you build your personal brand in racing, and how does UX help shape brand perception and loyalty in any industry?
So I think obviously, the name of the game in racing, and as a racing driver, you need performance. You need to obviously deliver when it matters, but also, there's so much more to just driving the car. So you gotta have like a really good like story to tell for people to identify with you, that want to really see your journey with the different like digital channels that we have available, that has also been changing. And motorsport like is a expensive sport as well, so you gotta be attractive to brands, to sponsorship, to activations, to identify with your fan base. So I think in that area we've definitely like grown a lot. Like for example, this year we launched a cap so that people at the track can follow and support you. Um, I had like a parallel with the coffee brand that we are trying to launch, and getting help with Wonder as well to make sure that we can like expand like the same sort of passion that we feel in racing with coffee, with a clothing brand. So I'm wearing it as well. I have a collaboration with a designer in Colombia to really start to spread the word and really make people identify with you, because at the end of the day that's also gonna like bring you visibility, and sponsors want to get on board, and then you can like start to change perception in my case with the story I have about women in the sport, and to be able then to bring more performance into the table when you have like a 360 um approach to it. So I think it's been also super helpful to have you guys on board, trying to help in different directions to at the end it's to grow my brand, which is uh, the racing driver, but at the end you have to see it as a product.
Exactly. And just like Tatiana said, first impressions matter. So Tatiana is a strong personality behind the world of racing. She's inspiring many boys and girls who want to be just like her or like any other. She's proving them that dreams are possible. So that's important. And also in the world of UX is like having a very smooth, intuitive, and good communication builds a strong brand credibility. So that's one very important. Your first impression as a brand in the digital world. Uh, these kind of emotions, they drive loyalty. So if you know how to drive emotions in every channel, in the offline world and the online world, then users will remember you. Like these collaborations that Tatiana has, merchandising initiatives, new sponsorships, they remember you. So that will help a lot. Uh, and also another important is the consistency, right? There has to be a unified UI and tone and experience across every channel. And it's just like storytelling. We are just telling the same story in a different way on a different channel, but it's about being consistent on this story, right? So that's very important.
Yeah, and creating connection and community. If I remember right, Tatiana, you launched a book, right?
Correct,
And
I
uh,
missed that one.
yeah, and I think it's a book to inspire young girls around the world. So I think also that's amazing.
Oh, thank you. Now that you reminded me, I actually today I went to a school. They implemented because we try to, like you said, to also give back to the sport, and so all the funds that we collect with the book sale, they go to an educational program that it's happening right now in Colombia for now, but it's about like um no stereotypes, so like any
Mhm.
boy or girl can dedicate themselves to whatever they like to do in life. And I had the chance today to talk to some of these kids that were in the first pilot of this program, and it's been super cool to see them say that, you know, that, oh, if she can do it, I can do it, and I can play soccer being a girl, or a boy can doesn't necessarily need to be playing football, or he can he loved, some of them loved animation and stuff like this. So I think it's about creating that that connection that they will remember. I think this for a long time, and an inspiration for the next generation.
Perfect. That's great.
That's
Uh,
amazing. Congratulations. Yeah, go ahead.
I know we have some questions from the people that is watching the live webinar right now. So we will pick two of those, the most interesting for Tatiana to answer. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, of course.
So let's choose the best two of them, like the most interesting. Let's find something different.
If you could redesign one aspect of the racing world, whether it's tech, training, or team dynamics, what would you improve and why?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think, I would like to give more opportunity to everybody. Like sometimes in motorsport, you depend a lot on how good your car is, and like which people are working around you, and therefore sometimes some talent gets lost, or doesn't shine as much as they should sometimes with the effort that they're making. So I would like to make a more playing field and a more accessible sport in many ways. And I think this is happening maybe through esports, nowadays, with the simulator and being more accessible to other people. But then in the real world, a lot of other factors start to interact, and that's when I think we need to make another step towards like a more equity in the sport. And this will help also, I think, more women get interested and getting good results.
Let's hope that happens soon, right?
Right.
We have another question here, and is how has technology in motorsports evolved and what is connection to UX?
Wow, I remember when I started 20 years ago. I went to the go-kart, and I didn't even had like a telemetry where you could see like your lap times every lap, or that you could download all the information the car gathered to be able to improve quicker and to understand like different factors that were influencing your lap times. So I think it's been crazy to think that now we have so much data available um to, in my case, improve my performance. But in UX, like the experience and getting like knowing what customers like and what they need from different types of products. So I think to have the access to this data, it's fascinating. And sometimes I think we get way too much data, and we don't there's so much power in it if you know how to look at it.
Perfect. I
You can
shouldn't
complete
add
it.
any more,
No,
but
you can
yes,
complete. You know more about this.
of course, you have learned a lot. It's all about data, but it's also about precision in the least time. I mean, we have to react super fast in real time, monitor everything, and learn. And also, you have to improve one project after another. What makes us great is that we learn from our past projects, and we build every time something new based on the experience and the knowledge that we have from the past, mixing it with the new trends and new technologies. So that is something super interesting for the racing world, but also for the UX and UI.
It's a
All right. Do
never
we have
stop.
time for exactly? It's a cycle or a series that they will never stop. They will never end. We have time for one last question.
Yeah. The last question. When and where is your next race, and how can fans follow along to support you?
Oh yes, finally, we get to race again in June. It won in Watkins Glen. I think through the WANDR social media and my own social media will be um, getting everybody involved and keeping updates from the weekend. Is a 6 hour race
Mhm.
in the summer, very hot. I think Memo remembers. It's a beautiful racetrack in Watkins Glen and very humid. Um, but we are looking forward to getting back to our Ford Mustang GT3 in the IMSA Championship.
So the Wonder team will be there. It's an amazing sites racetrack, as Tatiana said. The settings are amazing. You have the best sights from every corner. Yes, there's humidity. It's going to be hot, but it's also going to be hot in terms of the race. So we are very excited to be there. You can join us at wonder.studio in social media. We will be following up with Tatiana. We will be with her along on the tracks. So you will have time. You will have the real time updates about the race. And if you want to take part of this race before, just get in contact with Wonder at hello@wonder.studio.
We'll see you there.
Thank you so much. Our time is up, but thank you so much and everyone who connects to this webinar.
Thank you for
Thank
connecting.
We hope to
you.
see you soon. Thank you, Tatiana, for joining us. See you on the next race.
See you soon.